Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
Joining us now is one of those filers, 21shares president and co-founder Ophelia Snyder. Ophelia, a big week for 21shares, the SEC paving the way for the eventual launch of the first U.S. Ether ETFs. And then the news that we've been mentioning throughout the program today. Today, the London Stock Exchange debuting that batch of exchange-traded notes linked to Bitcoin and Ether. Explain to me the context here and sort of where you think we are when it comes to the cryptocurrency universe. What does this moment mean to you at 21shares?
So there's been a really big change in global momentum over the last few weeks. The FCA in the UK moved forward with approving our application for both spot Bitcoin and spot ETH ETPs on the London Stock Exchange last week. And not even 24 hours later, the SEC moved on our spot application here in the US, which is, needless to say, quite interesting. And it really shows there's a global momentum around crypto as an asset class. We've obviously been managing physically backed crypto ETPs in the US, in Europe, and also in Australia over the last 6 years. We launched in Australia in 2022, and so there's obviously been quite a bit of press recently also about movements in Australia and approvals by the ASX. As this type of issuer, we've been the first mover in this category for a long time. And our conviction that crypto is the future remains as true today as it was then. And really, our mission is to build products that would let people like my mom buy crypto, and we haven't really deviated from that at all. And the momentum over the last couple of weeks has been really exciting to see, and it's remarkable to see such consistency across different markets.
Well, let's talk about the momentum in the U.S. As we were just discussing with our Emilys, it was quite a reversal that we saw last week when it came to really the temperature around U.S. spot Ether ETFs. And again, it's anyone's guess when we actually will get the full approval and the listing of these products. But from where you sit right now, what's your best estimation of when that might be?
It's really hard to say. This is very much a day-by-day, minute-by-minute process, and that's actually quite unique to the U.S. And we typically see when any movement happens in a very public way, and that's completely different than the rest of the world. And it can sometimes give this impression that movement is coming out of nowhere because of just the nature of the way those communications work. But people have been working on, with U.S. regulators for a long time, and I mean, we've certainly been doing that for as long as the company's been alive. More than a half a dozen years now across different administrations and different regulators. I think it's slowly building to where we are today. It's hard to say, and the Emilys, as you put it, are right, and to say exactly what that timeline looks like, because you're not falling back on statutory timelines in the same way you do with a 19b4. But I think there's been a lot of really interesting movement and a lot of progress over many years to get to this point. It's not dissimilar in some respects from the conversations that have been had around spot Bitcoin products.
Hey, Ophelia, I want to go back to something that you said just a couple of minutes ago. You mentioned the idea of your mom buying crypto. And it made me think, should our moms really be buying crypto? Is that responsible?
Is crypto for moms?
Is crypto for everyone?
Yes, it most certainly is. And I have the interesting honor of having been actually introduced to crypto by my mom. So my mom's the one who actually first talked to me about crypto in 2013. And it's really interesting when you talk to her about why. This is obviously, yes, this is higher volatility than, potentially buying debt instruments. But that being said, it certainly has a place in people's portfolios, and it has a place for people to make responsible investment decisions in the sector. My mom is a great example of that. She actually gave an interview recently talking about how she got into the space for the first time, and it was really fascinating because the promise of technology, especially in the context of like multi-generational planning, in the context of retirement planning, in the context of like the planning of your financial life, is really interesting and really impactful for people. And so we're really of the belief that opportunity in crypto really is for everyone.
There you go. And your mom obviously being a great example of that. Unfortunately, we only have about a minute left with you, but I did want to ask, when it comes to U.S. Ether, the spot Ether ETFs, when might we see options start trading on those funds?
So we still don't have options actually trading on the Bitcoin products, right? That's a separate regulatory process. And I think that's going to continue to move forward as discussions with regulators advance. I would expect to see them hopefully soon, but it's difficult to give an estimate at this point in time.
Yeah, good reminder that we don't have options on those spot Bitcoin products. Really interesting since they were very quick to list with the Bitcoin futures ETFs, not yet with the spot ones. Ophelia, always great to speak to you. Really appreciate your time. That is 21shares president and co-founder Ophelia Snyder.